My name is Saul Cantu, and this is Texas Math Mundo. Today, on today's episode, we have the 2013 Individual State Mathematics Champion, Conference 4A, Mr. Dante Vela. I say Conference 4A, but his score was the highest score at the meet that year. Okay. Texas Math Mundo audience, we have the 2013 Individual State Mathematics Champion, Dante Vela, in the house. He was the Conference 4A champion, but it should be noted, he had the highest score at that state meet, regardless of conference size. Dante, thank you for being with us.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Great, excellent. So I want to start with, so how are you doing? Nowadays, what are you up to? How are you handling the pandemic?
Pretty good, actually. I've always been kind of like an introverted person, so I didn't mind, social distancing and staying at home. And I have a job as a data engineer, so that's basically a type of software engineer. I can just stay on my laptop and work from home just fine. So, and my workplace has been very fine with remote work. So yeah, it's actually been quite decent.
So you're a data engineer?
Yeah.
Is that what it sounds complicated?
A little bit, yeah. It's like it's mostly software engineering, but it's I like to think of it like as a type of software engineering, but it involves helping data scientists scale up their solutions.
Wow, it sounds fascinating also. You know what I'm saying? Wow, that's awesome. So when you're not engaged in work, what do you do to have a good time? Like, what are your hobbies and interests?
Usually just video games. I like to play lots of single player games, but also like multiplayer games with like my friends and stuff. I also do some recreational coding, although I haven't in a while. I used to doing Project Euler. Have you ever heard of that?
I have not heard of that. What is Project Euler?
So you're gonna love this. It's like a coding math challenge. Like it's a bunch of math problems that you need to use coding to be able to solve.
Oh, that sounds great. That's what we got to do in the calculator contest. We code the calculators to try to get the answer quicker.
Yeah. There you go.
Awesome. And I think you have a girlfriend too. Is that right?
Yeah. Ashley. Yeah, we've been dating for like 7 years now.
Okay, wow, that's a long-term relationship. Wow. Okay, I'm sure she eats up some of your time too.
Yeah.
All right,
so she's one of the friends I play video games with.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That's good to have a common interest there. So I'm kind of curious. It's been a long time since I've talked to you, man. So I'm really looking forward to catch up from you. But I want to know. I want to go back to your childhood. Where did you grow up, Dante? Where did you grow up?
Houston, Texas, born and raised.
So the mean streets of Houston, Texas molded you? Is that what I'm hearing?
Pretty much, yeah.
Oh, wow. So what part of Houston?
So I'm from like the Willowbrook area in the northwest, but I spent most of my I went to school in Northside since like elementary school.
Okay, wow. So I have a question. When did you realize, at what age, was it young, that you had a talent for mathematics?
I want to say it kind of started in second grade. Basically our teacher just made us do assignments out of textbooks, and for all of the subjects like reading and history and math. And so I would like to, just get ahead, something like in downtime during class, and just, try to do the assignments in the future so I wouldn't have to do them later on. For reading, I kind of got bored of it. Like I would read the stories, that was fine, but then answering the questions just didn't interest me. The same thing with like the history books, but the math books, it was just rewarding to just go through it and just answer every single question. And I think that's when I realized that I was pretty good at math.
Wow. Knowing you, I thought you were going to say in the womb. But okay, yeah, second grade. Second grade will do. That's pretty fascinating. So, I know that your father passed away at an early age. What grade were you?
Seventh grade.
Seventh grade. Wow, that's a very, very rough time to lose your father. How did that impact you? And did that prompt your journey into mathematics further?
I would say a little bit. Like even right before he passed, when he was hospitalized, I started picking up one of his calculus books. Just like one of the. He just had like a couple of books on his shelf, mostly novels, but there was a calculus book, and I've always, even though I've always like had a fascination with math, wanting to do complex equations. So I was like, why not? This might be an interesting read. And surprisingly, I could actually like understand the first chapter. I was like, this is pretty easy. You're just like adding and subtracting things. And so, yeah, I started picking up like calculus when he was hospitalized, and then, after he passed, I just decided to go through his old textbooks, kind of to see what his interests were, and I saw more math textbooks, and I decided to look into them, and it was nice furthering my math knowledge, and also feeling a little bit closer to my dad in that way as well.
Wow, that's deep. That's fascinating. That's really deep. So you end up at Reagan High School, which is now Heights High School, by the way, in 2013. How did you end up at Reagan High School in 2013?
So I went to middle school at Burbank Middle School, and like most of my friends actually ended up going to Reagan, and I had always wanted to go to Reagan, but due to some like clerical issues, since I'm like out of district, I always had a hard time getting into Reagan. However, my mom worked at Marshall Middle School at the time, and that's like right across the street from formerly Davis, now Northside High School. And so she had a lot of pull with the people administrators there, and they were able to get me a seat there. And yeah, that's where we met actually.
That's where our paths crossed.
Yes.
That's where.
Yeah. I still remember your first words to me. Are you prepared to dedicate your entire life to mathematics?
Yes. Okay. I got to tell you this story. I got to share this. So what happened is I had a very dedicated student, and he was like my only guy who wanted to give his life to math. And he ended up having personal issues, and he ended up going back to Mexico. So at that point, our team was just trash. Our team was trash. I even emailed the coach from Reagan High School at the time. I go, we're trash. Not 2 weeks later, I get CC'd on an email. I think it was your geometry teacher, Luis Medina.
Yep.
He wrote the counselor, and he CC'd me. And he's like, I have this student that seems incredibly gifted at mathematics. I think he belongs on the math team. You think I hesitated? The moment I read that email, I headed over to the counselors. I found your schedule, and I waited outside the door as you exited. And that's where you remember. And the first thing I asked you, are you ready to give your life to mathematics? Saying, you're like, sure, yes, let's do this. And so was that your introduction to competitive mathematics? Had you done competitive mathematics previously?
So that was when I actually started had like proper coaching for sure. But I remember now that I did do a few UIL competitions in middle school. I think it was often like district or something, but like either I think I might have placed at some point too, but like they just didn't send me to regional or something, or maybe I did go to regional.
I think middle school only stops at district.
Okay, that makes sense. But yeah, I do remember doing a few UIL just like 2 or something during my whole time in middle school. But I was not dedicated to it at all like I was in high school.
Oh, that was some fun times, man. So, and we'll get back to that. But so you end up going to Reagan in 2013, right? And that team and you individually win the state title in mathematics. When you were with me at Jeff Davis, you went to the state tournament. You got really close. I think that previous year you were like one question away.
It was, yeah, man. I thought like a hexagon was a pentagon, and I got a question wrong. There was actually another stupid question I got wrong as well. I thought like 2 times 2 times 2 was 6. Yeah,
and
I lost by 4 points.
That's the difference between state champion and second place. That was your junior year.
Yeah.
And then, so you go to Reagan High School, which is now Heights High School. And I think you turned up the volume because you really started to take names and kick some butt. I want to know about that 2013 year, because not only were you the individual champion, but the team was the state champion. Tell me about that year. Tell me about your coaches that year. Tell me about your teammates. Can you elaborate, please?
Yeah, so that was a wild year. Yeah, if you remember, I think you left Davis after 2012, which is part of the reason I decided to go to Reagan as well.
Yeah.
I knew these two guys, Argenis Uresti and John Delgado, who were, they definitely had potential, and they were always getting scores like above 100 and everything. So I realized like these guys could probably be pretty good, like if they had the right coaching. At the time, Reagan had two like math coaches, Mr. Lee and Mr. Tan, and Chan was definitely mathematically talented, but he was quite busy, and Lee was also quite busy, but he would they would still stay late at school. So yeah, so then John, Argenis, and this other guy Jose Herrera. He was our fourth member, and he was also quite dedicated as well. He made remarkable improvement, and so did all of those guys, because we would just stay until like 7 every day and just do a lot of math tests and go over every single question. And I would show them like all the tricks I knew, and yeah, they clearly they were very good because they were able to get a state championship with me.
Wow. So staying till 7, was that primarily motivated by you, or was the whole team just motivated?
The whole team was motivated. These guys, like, they were out for blood,
Oh, that's good.
Like, I didn't have to encourage them to stay. Like, they wanted to stay.
Isn't it wonderful when the chemistry works out just right?
Yeah, that was a fantastic team. Yes.
Wow. So you got the highest score at the state tournament that year, right? And so I'm really interested to know is, so I know you enjoyed your teammates, your coach. Who inspired you? What are your inspirations?
That's a tough question. I never really thought about it.
Was it your father?
I don't know. I would say back then Bobby Shen was probably one of them.
Yeah.
It was just incredible seeing his like just mathematical power. I was always just blown away. Yeah,
and your score beat his at the state meet that year.
Yeah, but to be fair, he had a bigger fish to fry.
Yeah, IMO stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. I understand. I appreciate that. And you have a deep respect, because we used to practice a little bit on the Olympiad stuff.
Yeah.
So you respect the beauty of that. Cool, fascinating. What do you remember the most of that year? What's your single most memorable thing from that year?
I don't know. Yeah, it's this. Just the state. Actually, I remember now. Yeah, I know what I want to say. When we got to state, we were actually late. We were running late.
No.
And so, we were there past the deadline and everything. But the proctor was also running late, and so after the exam, when the coaches were telling us that. Basically when Pearl and Dawson found out that they lost to us, they were trying to disqualify us, like, oh, they were late, but the proctor has the final say, so he decided no, their score counts.
Oh, some controversy.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's nothing like a little controversy to make it even more memorable.
Yeah.
Say even more memorable.
Spice.
Wow. So that whole experience, UIL, definitely prepared you for college. Where did you go to college?
So I went to Stanford University, where I surprisingly got a bachelor's in computer science and not math. And that was kind of a deadly mistake. I took the intro CS class and that that's basically like it converts half of our student body into computer science majors, and it totally worked on me. It was a fantastic class, and computer science is a fantastic field. It's really just math. Like, it's just math, and people program with it.
Yes, yes. And so your degree was in computer science?
Yep.
Oh, wow. So did you like your experience at Stanford? Were your professors, I'm sure they were top notch, and did you make any lasting friendships there?
Yeah, I made a couple of friends. I still talk to my friend Angel Lopez. He still lives out in California. Yeah, I had some pretty great professors. I don't remember their names, but I do remember one of them was like a 3-time Putnam Fellow.
Wow.
And actually, 2 of them were. One. It's just that one wasn't a full-time professor yet, but he was my lecturer, and he was also a 3-time Putnam Fellow. A really young guy. So yeah, it was fantastic. Just seeing how they did math and the way they proved different theorems.
So
I still remember like the proof of the fundamental theorem of algebra, I think.
Oh.
The one that says like the algebraic closure of the reals is the complex numbers. I don't remember the proof, but I remember it was fantastic.
Yeah, wow. So I have a question. What role do you think your participation in UIL have in your college career?
Oh man, it basically just cemented my path. Like the first 2.5 years at Stanford, I spent taking a bunch of math classes, thinking I was going to major in math because I just loved UIL and I loved doing the math, and I really loved the AMC stuff. Like, I really wish I had gotten into it a few years earlier. But it was just great learning all that stuff, and I wanted to kind of continue, diving into some more math, and that's what I did in college until I took CS 106A. But even after I decided to switch into computer science, I decided to take a lot of like theoretical computing classes, like the ones that discuss P versus NP and stuff like that. Like, because those are really just pure math, like pure theoretical math.
Is that your core love?
I think so. Yeah, like the applied numerical stuff is fine, but I just really love that weird abstract pure math.
Oh, wow. Cool. So, having reached the mountaintop, state champion, having graduated from a prestigious university, a lot of, I think, very interesting character that you are. I'm curious, like, if a young fellow were to come across this interview, maybe a guy in 9th grade or somebody in middle school, and they were listening to you, what advice would you give them?
I would say, just find something you really like, and just give it your all. Like, high school is a nice time because you don't have to worry about anything except school really, and like if you knock that out, you could just spend all of your time focused on whatever your passions are, and you could really hone a talent and use it to get a good job possibly, or just do whatever you like doing.
Yes, that's great advice. So you're still a young man, but looking back at it all, what do you value the most about your experience in UIL?
I mean, it's like 2 things really. Obviously the just getting to know more math, and the skills from math. I guess it's really 3 things. It's like just the beauty of mathematics is one thing. I just enjoyed doing the math proofs, finding fast ways to do problems. Also the usefulness of the math. It was nice honing a skill that's very applicable in the real world. And also, just like the relationships, like, having a good coach and having good teammates, like it's something I really haven't experienced since.
Yes. Wow. Cool. So I want to ask, I would love to invite you to come join us at tournaments if you're around Houston. You know what I'm saying? I think you would love the coach's room. It's a different perspective, but your love for math and first of all, your math knowledge, would be great. You know what I remember? I remember being at tournaments with a crowd of kids, a huddle of kids looking over your shoulder as you solve problems. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember. I feel like that happened a lot with the Reagan kids. Like they would always like to. That was part of why I switched. Like John and Dennis would always be there, but then they would also have like Carlos and David and a bunch of other kids coming and trying to just look at my work as well.
So, what does the future hold for Dante Vela?
I don't know. I really like my current company, Mercury Data Science. I feel like I'm in this unique position because I'm young enough where I don't really care to have like the highest paycheck. And so like I'm really patient about, slowly moving up. And also since it's like a small startup, some of the, management kind of comes and goes. Like my boss, I had like 3 bosses leave at this point or something. So, I'm hoping that as I gain more knowledge and experience, I could just slip into like my boss's position one day and just, keep moving on up.
Oh yeah. Move up the hierarchy,
Yeah, more responsibilities and more money.
Yes, there you go. The more money part I can understand. I'll never understand it fully, but I understand. That's great. So, as we conclude this interview, do you have any parting thoughts, any parting words?
I don't know. I could just say, I guess I'll just say that, UIL has been one of like the best things in my life by a long shot. Like, it helped hone my skills in math and, even a little bit of science because Kentu forced me to do science, and even they always forced me to do science. And yeah, I mean, it was just, great learning all those math skills, and then also like having like a coach and friends and, teammates to share it with. It truly is a one of a kind experience. Like even in college, you don't really get stuff like that. Well, maybe at MIT or something, but like at Stanford, the people there just, they don't love math the same way I do. So some of them, and even if they do, they don't. It's not like a team effort the way it is in UIL.
So, I love that message, by the way. I love that message. I want to say something, because I never got a chance to tell you this, because once you went to Reagan, our paths, parted for a long while. But when I found out that not only you were the state champion in 2013, but you had the highest score at the meet, period. Yes, my heart beamed with pride. I was so proud of you. I was so happy. You know what I'm saying? I was like,
you should be, can't you?
But
it wouldn't have happened without you.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. I'll take all the credit if I can. but because I remember, because for me, it's not just you were at the mountaintop. You got to stand on stage, number 1 in the state, and nobody can ever take that away from you. But what I remember the most is the journey. Do you remember me and you just driving to Austin by ourselves?
Yeah.
Stopping by to get some barbecue. It's just you and me.
I remember.
It's like, I guess in football, they say you got to love the locker room, you got to love the practice, and then, you get that little bit on the field. All those days after school, Dante, all those days, just me and you, going through those problems and loving the beauty of mathematics, that the journey is what I found so beautiful. And when I personally look back, and I think about those times that you and me spent together, those are some of those fondest memories I have personally. I wanted to share that with you because, I always am so proud of you, and I can brag about you because you were number 1. But even if you had not become number 1, I would look back at all that time we spent together doing beautiful mathematics very fondly, and it'd be some of my best memories.
I completely agree, Kentu. Like, you basically started my real love for math, and yeah, I can't thank you enough.
Oh, hey, and that love continues. It doesn't stop now. That love continues. So one of the things I remember at math practice, I would be trying to do a problem, and you already had like 2 different ways in your head. You already knew how to solve it. You were so fast. And I was like, wow, how does this guy know like 2 different solutions? I haven't even got one solution yet. You know what I'm saying? So the thing is, I hope that you're open to come back. Maybe we can discuss some more beautiful math problems together and share that together and video it and share it with other kids who are looking at these problems. So I'm hoping that you'll be able to come back.
Definitely. And I also have some other ideas for like using my new CS knowledge as well. Like one thing I had chatted with John about that I think I'll probably start working on next month is like a program that randomly generates UIL math tests. Like based on like a structure for different types of problems and stuff like that. So yeah, that is probably going to be a lot of fun to work on, and the results are probably going to be pretty helpful to you and all the other math coaches.
Some real-time data, so I can track the talent on my team.
Sure, yeah.
No, that sounds awesome, Dante. That sounds awesome. I want to express my gratitude. I hope that we don't go. I hope that we now are in communication much more often, and I really hope you can join us on the math scene when you get a chance. Since you're in Houston, right?
Yeah. I think John told me that like regionals is soon, or district is soon, isn't it? Like in
district is March 27th for us.
Yeah, I might stop by. I'll see.
Please do. I'm at Wisdom High School. Please do. You're always welcome, and I look forward to reconnecting with you. And I love for you to share your passion with my students. So that's great.
Can do. I love math, and I love helping Houston, Texas students.
Awesome, Dante. I appreciate you conducting this interview. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Once again, thank you for having me. It's completely my pleasure.
Okay. Thank you. Farewell, Dante. Farewell.
See you around.
I hope you enjoyed that interview with Dante Vela, and I hope to bring many more interviews to you. Please remember to hit the like button, subscribe, and leave a comment below. Thank you and farewell till next time. This is Texas Math Mundo.